Here we go. It is day 3 of our The Wait is Over boot camp. And today on day 3, we are talking about doing the inner work. So that is secret code for mindset. I know that some people are so tired of me talking about mindset, but I'm telling you, it's everything. It is everything. All right, so we'll start out with if you do what you've always done, you'll get the same results that you've always got. Isn't that true? If you do the same thing you've always done, you're always going to get the same results that you've always got. So, what do we need to do to change our results? If you're always falling off the wagon, then we got to change something, right? And that's changing our mindset. Romans 12, verse 2 says, "Let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think." Another version says to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. It's mindset, ladies. Mindset. If you keep quitting, you'll never reach your goal. But if you're going to quit anything, quit making excuses. And whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Losing weight for the last time is all about mindset and about changing your relationship with food. So again, if you're changing your relationship with food, you're changing the way you think about food. So it's still about mindset. Here's another quote. Most of the problems in life are because of 2 reasons. Number 1, we act without thinking. Number 2, we think without acting. So I'm going to address the second one first. We think without acting. I did this for a lot of years. I was doing all the research, trying to find the perfect plan, whatever was going to work best for me. And I wanted it to be everything to be just right. So I spent a lot of time thinking and planning and preparing, but I wasn't taking any action. And then when I did take action, then the problem was I didn't stick with it. So now let's go to the first one. We act without thinking. So again, it goes back to that mindset. We, we make a lot of choices, but those choices don't get us closer to our goal. And remember the other day I said you make 200 food decisions a day. So think about the things that the poor choices that you make. And if you're watching, let me know. And even if you're watching the replay, let me know in the comments, what are some of the foods that trip you up, that you know that if you eat it, it's not going to get you closer to your goal. So what is one of those foods, let's say, that you end up defaulting to? Okay. Snacks, munchies, these are some of the poor food choices that we make, the things that we do, that we act without thinking. Having snacks that aren't that you're just snacking on and you're not really paying attention. Shirley says rice cakes. Yeah, and in and of themselves, rice cakes aren't bad. But if you have that mentality, that mindset that, oh, well, they're healthy for me, or they're a better choice, but then we overeat, then that's still a problem, right? Munching while you're cooking, or there's food on the table and you're munching. You go out to eat. Okay, let's say going to a restaurant and you decide you're only going to eat half of what's brought to you, and you're going to put the rest in a takeout container to bring home, but the plate is sitting there, and so you're sitting there and you're munching. Shirley says crackers. I end up eating the whole bag. Exactly. Eating food just because it's there, right? So start by being more mindful. Again, it's mindset. Start by being more mindful. Pay attention to what you're eating. And remember, we talked about putting everything on your plate, eating everything at the table, slowing down, chewing your food more. Sorry, there's a hair on my arm and I keep thinking it's a bug. So when you put everything on a plate and you sit down at the table, then you're being more mindful of what you're eating. I teach my clients to ask themselves, will this get me closer to my goal? And that's hard to remember to do in the beginning. But that's why working with a coach is helpful, because I'll remind you of that over and over again. I have clients that say to me, oh my gosh, you were in my head today. I heard you saying whatever it is, one of the things that I say all the time. One of them being, is that going to get you closer to your goal? I think one of my clients just said that to me yesterday. She was going to have something and she changed her mind because she heard me saying, is that going to get you closer to your goal? So um, asking yourself that, and asking yourself, which I think we talked about yesterday, is this heart hunger, mouth hunger, or stomach hunger? So mouth meaning you want to be busy, right? You just want that flavor, you want the taste. Maybe you want the salt or the crunch. Or is it heart hunger? Are there emotions going on? Or is it actually stomach hunger? Are you actually hungry? If it's mouth hunger or heart hunger, then uh, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Another tip for you is to stop thinking about all the foods that you can't eat, because that puts you in that deprivation restriction mode. So instead of thinking I can't have all of these foods, start thinking about all the foods that you get to eat. Day one, when we talked about what, when, where, and how to eat, I mentioned my how to eat guide. So if you're interested in that, let me know. I do believe there's a copy of it in the free group. Um, but there's a whole list of all the foods that you get to eat. So it's not about the deprivation and the restriction. It's about, look at all I get to eat. And somebody mentioned, I think it was yesterday, about making sure that your plate is a rainbow. Beautiful idea. The more colorful and visually appealing your plate is, the more you're going to want to eat it. So you don't need to have an all or nothing attitude. Okay? Like, I think sometimes we're like, okay, I'm just going to go to this extreme. I give up. I'm just going to eat all of the junk food. I'm going to eat anything I want, and we go overboard. We go to the extreme where we eat what we want, but we also eat it in very large portions. And I mentioned on Monday that one of my clients says there's no junk food, there's only junk quantities. And that's so true. So we have that all mentality. I got to have it all. Or then we get annoyed with ourselves because we put weight on. And so then we go to the other extreme where we do the nothing attitude, and we start restricting ourselves, and huge restrictions, and cut out food groups. And, we've talked about that. So it's not about the extremes. It's about being balanced. Galatians 5:13 says, do not use your freedom to indulge the flesh. So, like I said, we have that all or nothing attitude, and but the truth is, we have the freedom to eat whatever we want, but it's all about moderation. So don't use the freedom to indulge your flesh. Now we're going to talk a little bit about failure. Tell me in the comments, when it comes to, oh, sorry, I'm trying to read my notes. I'm like, what does that mean? When it comes to weight loss, where, if at all, do you feel like you fail? So what is the area that you struggle the most with your weight loss? Don't let failure keep you down. Don't let the fear of failure keep you down either. Sometimes we're so afraid of failing that we don't even try. And that in and of itself is failure, because then we're if we don't even try, we're definitely not going to succeed at all. Like, we're definitely going to fail because nothing's going to happen, right? Think of failure as a stepping stone instead of a tombstone. So just because you fail doesn't mean that you failed forever. Instead, it's a stepping stone. It's an opportunity to learn. So when you've failed or made a mistake, ask yourself, okay, in this situation, what went well? And then what didn't go well? And then what can I do differently the next time so that this doesn't happen again? That's the key part there, is learning from the mistakes that we made. The story of WD-40, you know what, we all know what WD-40 is. So the 40 actually I think the WD stands for water displacement, and 40 is the number of times that he tried to create it. So he kept trying over and over and over again. So 39 times he failed and didn't get the result that he wanted. But he kept picking himself up. He kept trying again. He kept looking at the previous ones that he had created and gone, okay, what was good about this? What wasn't good? And what can I change? And he didn't give up. And then number 40 came out, and it was the one. 40 times. That is the one that gave him the success that he has today. My heart and flesh may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. So even the Bible says it's inevitable. We are going to fail. Our flesh is going to fail us, but it's what we do with that that counts. So say to yourself, in spite of my failure, I am going to break through. In spite of my failure, I'm going to get up, dust myself off, and I am going to break through. Success comes from being consistent and from persevering. Don't let the stumbles paralyze you and abort that breakthrough. What I see so often is women stumble, they fall off the wagon, they make mistakes, they even put on a few pounds, and then they let that paralyze them. They let that keep them from having the breakthrough that they could have had they kept going. Like, they give up. I don't want you to do that. If you don't quit and if you don't give up, then you will succeed, right? It's not about it's not about how fast you get there. I was talking to my doctor today, and he said the best weight loss, or the best way to lose weight, he says, is to lose it very slowly. We were talking about fatty liver, and I know a lot of you ladies, hi Tabitha, thanks for coming. I know a lot of you have fatty liver. I do. And so we were talking about it, and I said, okay, what is the best way to get rid of the fatty liver? And he said, the best way is to lose weight. But here's what he said: not the quick weight loss, not the um, the quick weight loss where it's so fast and then you have the potential to gain it back just as quickly. He said the best way to get rid of the fatty liver disease is the consistent, slow, and steady weight loss. His recommendation was actually only 30 pounds a year. So he said, you're right on track. All right. Where am I? Okay, believe in yourself. So we're talking about failure and not allowing the failure to keep you down and to keep you stumbled. Believe in yourself. Believe that you can do it. one way to do that is to visualize the future you. So when you get to a certain goal, it doesn't even have to be your goal weight. It can be your first goal. What's going to be different about then? So let's say 20 pounds from now. 20 pounds from now, what will be different? What will you be able to do that maybe you're not able to do right now? I know in 2020, I gained some weight and I am feeling it in my knees. So I know that when I lose 20 pounds, my knees are going to feel better. There's actually 4 pounds of pressure on your knees for every pound of weight that you are. So if I lose 20 pounds, that's 80 pounds of pressure taken off my knees. Just because it's hard doesn't mean that we give up. We do hard things all the time. Why is it when it comes to weight loss, when that's hard, we give up? What is it about that? I'm still not sure that I have figured that out. But don't give up just because it's hard. Acknowledge that, yes, some days it is going to be hard, but then ask God for his strength and his power to move you beyond, through, and past the difficulty. God is there to help you. He cares about every little thing in your life. And if you ask for his help, he's going to help you. In our most broken places is where God meets us supernaturally. Think about that. There have been many times where I've tried to do things on my own, and then finally I'm broken, I can't do it anymore, and then I go, oh yeah, I should have asked God for help. God, can you help me? In my brokenness, I'm begging for him to help me. And then he goes, of course, all you had to do was ask. And then the way that he meets me is so different than anything I could have ever asked or imagined. Refuse to allow resistance to convince you to quit. All right, so then you might be saying, yeah, this is great, but I'm an emotional eater. I'm a stress eater. So how can I stop the emotional eating? First off, you need to recognize that your feelings don't need to control you. You get to control your feelings. Feelings are just feelings. That's it. They don't have to become your reality. And recognize that food is meant for fuel. It's meant to fuel our body. It's not meant to feed our emotions. And that's what we do, isn't it? But the problem is the food may help for the moment, but then a little while later, you're going to feel worse. And then more emotions are going to kick in because now you're going to start feeling frustrated with yourself. You're going to feel guilty for indulging and binging. And then some of the foods, like we talked about yesterday when we were talking about energy, some of those foods are actually going to make those feelings worse because then it's going to cause the brain fog and the tiredness. And so now those emotions are going to be even stronger. I'm telling you, I'm saying all of this from experience because I have been there. And when I begin defaulting to those foods that I know make me feel that way, then I get emotional and I think, what is wrong with me? And then I go, oh yeah, I've been eating those foods. So stay away from that. Don't use food as a way to feed your emotions. So what do you do with it instead? Journal about the emotions. And it doesn't have to be like written out long form. You can just do a bullet journal where, and I've done this before and it works really well. So just in bullet point form, write down all the feelings that you have. I'm feeling angry. I'm frustrated. I'm overwhelmed. I feel defeated. Just write down all the feelings that you're feeling. And it feels good to get it out of you and onto paper. You can use an audio journal if that works. There's an app called Journify. Sugar makes me grumpy. Yep, me too, every time. There's an app called Journify, and it's a way to do an audio journal. Talk to somebody about it, about how you're feeling. But whatever you do, don't eat those emotions. Proverbs 18:20 says, wise words satisfy like a good meal. The right words bring satisfaction. Isn't that true? So write down all of the negative words that you're feeling, but then what are the positive, what are the opposite words to that? What is the opposite to angry? Okay, it's happy. So how am I going to be happy? What do I need to do to get to happy? Relax, self-care, another way to cope with the emotions. Um, Doing nothing is okay. And sometimes we're so busy that our body is craving relaxation, but we have got into this mode of go, go, go. And society has almost made it be a normal thing to be busy all the time, right? It kind of puts you in a higher class to be busy. Oh, how are you doing? Oh gosh, it's been so busy lately, right? So then what happens is our body needs to relax, so it's going to start craving those foods that are going to make us tired. And another thing we do is some people have trouble sitting and doing nothing. I have a client, and I talked her through this the one day because she had trouble sitting and doing nothing because she felt like she should be doing a whole bunch of other things. But when she sat down with food, then she was okay. And I said, so you're using the food as your permission to relax and do nothing. You're not doing all those other things while you're eating the food. So why can't you just take that same amount of time and relax without the food? It's okay to relax. It's okay to look after yourself. The cravings. Luke 12:22. Don't worry about whether you have enough to eat. Life is more than food. Another version says, don't always be thinking about food. Galatians 5:22 to 23 talks about the fruit of the Spirit, which is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, faithfulness, self-control, and goodness. Look at all the fruit of the Spirit. All these, like, they all are nice words. Joy, peace, love, patience, kindness, gentleness, faithfulness, goodness. And then he throws self-control in there. So it is possible to have self-control. That is a fruit of the Spirit. So if we are allowing the Spirit of God in our lives to guide us and to control us, we can have self-control because that is a fruit of the Spirit. So you can control it. You can do it. And cravings are a way to listen to your body. So what are you craving? Okay, you're craving the sweet foods, the foods that make you tired, then that probably means it's time for you to relax. So listen to your body, listen to what it's telling you, and learn from your cravings. Eating regularly is also going to reduce your cravings. Proverbs 27 verse 7 says, the person who is full refuses honey. So if you're eating regularly throughout the day, you're eating the proper foods, you're filling your body full of nutrition and vitamins, you're not going to crave the junk food as much because your body is satisfied. Your body is full. And then the last part that I want to talk about is changing the words that you say to yourself. So let me just tell you a story. The other week, the scales went up for me. I weighed myself and I was up a couple of pounds. And I told my best friend, and she said, you are so fat. You're so lazy. You are useless. You're never going to amount to anything because you can't even lose this weight. How can you be a health coach and be gaining weight? You are a cow, you're useless, and you're disgusting. Now, that best friend was actually my words, okay? But when I told you that that's what my friend told me, how did that make you feel? Let me know how it made you feel in the comments. Like, what did your heart feel when I said to you, these are all the words that my friend said to me? But that's what we do to ourselves, isn't it? We say these horrible, horrible things to ourselves that we wouldn't say to somebody else. So why is it okay to say it to yourself? Why is that okay? 1 Peter 3 verse 4 says, the unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit is of great worth in God's eyes. You are of great worth in God's eyes. Those who look to him are radiant. Psalm 34 verse 5. So you are of great worth. You are radiant. Proverbs 31:25. She is clothed with strength and dignity. And then Proverbs 31:10. You are worth far more than rubies. So look at this. You are of great worth in God's eyes. You are radiant. You are clothed with strength and dignity, and you are worth far more than rubies. Shirley says, when I said that, she said, I was upset with the horrible words. Yeah, and we do need to be kind to ourselves, but we aren't. And the more we keep feeding our minds full of those negative words, the more defeated we feel, the worse we feel about our bodies, about ourselves, our self-confidence goes down, our self-esteem, it tanks out because we are feeding ourselves with those horrible, horrible words. So change the way that you talk to yourself because you are worth far more than rubies. So this is a lot of what we do when in my membership is we work on the mindset. We work on changing the story that you tell yourself, the words that you tell yourself. One of the things I have the clients do is to make a list of 20 things that they love about themselves and tell me the top 3 things that are unique about them. Like we really dig deep into changing the mindset, changing the way that you look at yourself, and changing the way you show up every day, changing your relationship with food, building your self-esteem. Because when you can do all of that, when you can change your mindset, then you're going to be able to lose weight for the last time. And what I mean by the last time is you're not going to stay stuck on that perpetual yo-yo diet roller coaster where you lose weight and gain weight and lose weight and gain weight. Instead, you're going to lose weight, and it's going to be the last time that you ever have to lose it again, because you're going to lose it. You're going to have changed that mindset and your relationship with food so that you know what to do every day. You know what choices to make, and you love yourself. So if you are interested in the membership, it is one-on-one coaching, not where we have weekly calls like a lot of one-on-one coaching does, but instead you have access to me either in the private Facebook group, through Messenger, through text, through Voxer, which another client I have uses Marco Polo, and we do video chats back and forth. Whatever works for you, that's what we'll use. So you get to interact with me every single day. You let me know how your day went, what went well, what you struggled with. Do you have any questions? What are your goals for tomorrow? Did you follow through on your goals today? You get to check in with me every single day. So when a problem comes up, we get to deal with it right then and there instead of waiting a week until our next meeting. And then twice a week, you're going to get motivations, you're going to get journal prompts, affirmations, the verse of the day. And those are the those that you get twice a week, those are the ways to dig deeper. So a video like this, only they're usually about 5 to 8 minutes long, and and I teach you something about mindset or about weight loss, and then you get the journal prompts to help you dig a little bit deeper, and then you get a motivation, something to make you think, and then an affirmation, something to make you feel positive about yourself. It's all about empowering you to live the fab, fit, and free life that you want to live, and empowering you to lose weight for the last time. So if you are interested in the membership, please let me know in the comments or reach out to me. It's only $47 a month, which is less than a coffee a day. So if you are in the habit of getting a coffee every day, then that's the price of the membership. Like, honestly, you are not going to get one-on-one coaching for $47 a month. And the great thing about the membership is you can be in it as long as you need to. And when you don't need to be there anymore, then you can leave. It's totally up to you. All right. So tomorrow, W-E-I, tomorrow is G. And we will be talking about putting God at the center of our weight loss journey and how we can have success that way. All right. So thank you so much for being here. If you do have any questions, please ask them in the comments and I will answer them for you. Have a great day. Bye.